And welcome back to Hannity's America. It is a deadly and terrifying revelation. Cuba's proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. For the first time on U.S. television, a former Cuban military official risks his life exposing what we've long suspected. It has become the cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy after 9/11, containing the spread of WMDs, weapons of mass destruction. But it's not just Islamic fundamentalists threatening the U.S. with WMDs. 90 miles off the coast of Florida are factories containing deadly biological agents.
Cuba developed a project of biological weapons for military purposes. Approximately from the years 84 to 86, at the same time as a civil project was developed.
In its arsenal of weapons, anthrax, hepatitis, AIDS, smallpox, botulism, yellow fever, and the list goes on. In a Fox News exclusive, the former chief of Cuba's military services confirms for the first time that Cuba possesses and is actively stockpiling deadly biological warfare agents.
All expenses involved in this military project were masked under the civilian project. This allowed Fidel, under the cover of developing vaccine and curing diseases, to develop this biological military project.
Former Army Colonel Roberto Ortega defected from Cuba in 2003. He's now openly appealing to the United States to send weapons inspectors in search of these deadly agents.
I've asked international agencies, the UN, to allow the inspections of these places to see if there are biological weapons or not. Any person, by reasoning it out, could arrive at the conclusion that Cuba could develop those weapons. I'm saying that Cuba has developed those weapons and that Cuba has those weapons.
Ortega says this building, disguised under civilian cover, has a secret underground facility. It employs dozens of scientists who have developed and stockpiled deadly biological and chemical agents. The Cuban government has denied the existence of this and other covert facilities. Dr. Manuel Cereijo is a professor at the University of Miami, and he has authored several books, written over 700 articles, and has been nationally recognized by the U.S. Senate and Congress.
So what are they doing in these centers that they don't produce medicine for the people and they don't produce medicine to export? And that's the big question. What are they doing there?
Dr. Cereijo says there are at least 11 huge centers with limited access and hidden secrets.
Within those buildings, there are secret departments that nobody can visit. Not even their own people working there, only selected people, scientists, that work there.
Scientists who, quote-unquote, work for a man who joins the ranks of Islamic fundamentalists determined to spread weapons of mass destruction. That man, Fidel Castro. It's an area called Pollo Científico. Dr. Cereijo claims that the very core of Cuba's bio-warfare efforts is the Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology. It's located in Havana. He says this facility has the means to weaponize anthrax and produce the smallpox virus, as well as the production of other deadly bioagents. And even more chilling is the alliance Cuba has built with Iran and China. These countries work together in the research and development of biological weapons and constitute a new emerging axis of evil. As a respected leader in the Cuban community, Dr. Cereijo expresses what many Cubans fear once Fidel Castro dies.
What I'm afraid of is that we are living maybe in a very dangerous moment now, because if he dies or is about to die, I don't know what his brother and the other people around him might think of doing to just please him before he dies, that he did whatever he has wanted to do, which is destroy the United States.
These various centers are tightly controlled by Cuba's military apparatus. World leaders, including former President Jimmy Carter, have been invited in the past by Fidel Castro to view some of these facilities. But Castro made sure never to expose his covert weapons program, but they have been known for years by senior U.S. government officials. Speaking in March of 2002, the then Undersecretary of State for Non-Proliferation, Ambassador John Bolton, said this about Cuba.
The United States believes that Cuba has at least a limited offensive biological warfare research and development effort.
And while other U.S. administration officials would not comment on Cuba's weapons program, Bolton went even further. In a 2004 written statement to Congress, Bolton declared, quote, "I believe the case for the existence of a developmental Cuba, biological weapons research and development, and their effort is strong." For decades, U.S. officials knew Cuba had the means to develop biological and chemical agents, but never had the proof. The recent defections of Cubans such as Roberto Ortega, who now offer first-hand knowledge of the production and stockpiling of these weapons, put intense pressure on U.S. officials to finally act.